is the Cool Kids Film Club Podcast. Watch films with us. Do you know how to make video look cartoony?
No.
That would have been good.
It's probably really easy, isn't it?
Well, we might be cartoony, we might not be. Depends if I can figure it out. Welcome to the Cool Kids Film Club Podcast. I am Trevor Webb, and this guy is Gavin Rye. Gavin Rye, say hi.
Howdy.
I'm going to try not to swear today. So I've usually sworn already by now, but I'm going to try not to.
I've actually never sworn.
Never in your whole life?
No. Nope. I said fiddlesticks once. Well, twice now.
I'll say that.
How have you been? What have you been up to?
Well, funny you should ask. I thought I was putting on some weight. With the lockdown and everything, most people have been putting on weight, haven't they? So I just thought, I've been eating too much. But it's not food, baby. I did a test, and I'm pregnant.
Congratulations.
Is it a congratulations thing? That's what you say, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't. I say, commiserations.
Well, I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. But,
Should drink loads of Sunny D.
No, I have not drank any Sunny D. Because Sunny D, Gavin, if you drink too much of it, I think it's if you drink too much calcium C, it actually harms the baby.
Yeah, that's why she's drinking it.
Who's drinking it? We don't even know what film we're watching yet.
No. What film are we watching? What film did we watch?
Well, this week we had your wife, Tara Rye, pick the film. And did you know that she is married to the lead singer of Pulp?
Is she?
Yeah, did you know that?
No, didn't. Jarvis Cocker.
Yep, that's the one. Her and Jarvis.
What? She's married to him and I'm married to her? But she's not married to me.
All I know is she's married to him. I don't know anything about your engagements and your relationship.
I didn't know that. She never mentioned that, and I like Pulp. I like Jarvis Cocker, but yeah, she never mentioned it.
No? Did you not find it weird that he was hanging around the house so much?
I've never seen him.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
I feel kind of bad for breaking this to you.
Oh, well, I'll soldier on, I guess.
I mean, it's only bad news if you're not into it. It could open up whole new avenues of relations.
Yep. I'll have a chat with her later.
Yeah, and have a word with Jarvis. Get him on the podcast. He can do the new theme tune.
Yeah, he could do. I'll talk to him if I see him.
Anyway, the film was chosen by Tara Rye, so she's done us an introduction. So we're going to cut to that now.
Hello, I am Tara Rye, wife of Gavin Rye, and this week my film got picked, Juno. I really enjoy this film. I'm a bit of a fan of Elliot Page, quite like a few of his films. And this film, I used to find it really heartwarming and just a feel-good film, but I haven't watched it since becoming a parent, and so watching it this time gave it a bit of a different meaning for me. And I found myself questioning what I would do should my daughter come home pregnant at 16 years old. I'd like to think that I would be cool and calm and collected about the situation, but I think I would be similar to how her dad reacted, and freak out a little bit when she left the room. I just really enjoyed the film. I hope you all enjoyed it too. I haven't really got a lot else to say, but I did brush my hair like I promised. So, back to Trevor and Gavin.
So, as Tara Rye just stated, the film this week is Juno from 2007, starring Elliot Page and Michael Cera. Do you have anything you'd like to say about the film, about the director, people in it, etc.?
Yep, directed by Jason Reitman, son of Ivan Reitman. His directorial credits include Thank You for Smoking, which is really good. Up in the Air, I like that. I haven't seen, Tully and Young Adult, but he's also doing the new Ghostbusters film, which it should have been out by now, but alas, it is not.
I didn't know he was doing that.
Yeah, he's doing his dad's film, or sequel to his dad's film.
I'm looking forward to that. The new Ghostbusters film should be good.
Yeah, should be alright.
Can't be worse than the last one.
No, it cannot. No, I didn't enjoy that film.
Nope.
Not good.
So, in the film, we have Elliot Page from Hard Candy and Super. Those are my two favourite Elliot Page films. What is yours?
Well, my favourite is probably Hard Candy, but I really like The Tracy Fragments, which is a very strange film. It's like all sort of split screen, all over the place. And I remember when it got made, the director released all of the footage and allowed fans to edit it to their own specifications. That's quite interesting. And Inception as well. It's good.
Yeah, the Tracy Fragments was good stylistically. I liked the multi-shots all over the place aspect, but I remember not really loving the film too much. And also Michael Cera is in it. I would ask you his favourite film, your favourite film of his, but it's obvious, so there's no real point. It's Scott Pilgrim versus the World, isn't it? Clearly.
No, it would be the Twin Peaks season 3, which...
No.
Yeah, definitely Twin Peaks. No. He's only got a really small part in that. I like Scott Pilgrim. I've only seen it once. Need to rewatch that.
Great film. Directed by Edgar Wright, of course. Best director in the world. Did you know that?
I did not, because he is not.
He is. That's a fact. You can't even argue that.
His next film after Soho and the remake, he's also doing a documentary about his favourite band. Do you know his favourite band?
No.
Sparks.
Fair enough. Never even heard of Sparks. What are Sparks?
What would you call them? Kind of art rock. They're quite quirky, nice little tunes. Sherlock Holmes by them, I recommend. It's good.
We'll look into it. The film we're doing is Juno, a film about a girl who gets pregnant from her friend at school, and she basically is about her and her pregnancy, deciding whether to adopt the child or have it aborted, etc. I'm not explaining this very well, but
it works. It's just her decision on her pregnancy. Is basically what it's about.
Indeed. Warning!
Oi, you! Do not watch this podcast if you have not already seen the film. It's a spoiler review. It contains spoilers. It's simple, really. If you want to come back once, that's up to you. But don't watch this podcast until you've seen the film. Alright. Cool. Cheers, mate.
What did you think?
Yeah, it's good.
Well, that's the end.
This is another one I haven't seen since it came out in 2007, was it?
Yes.
So what did I think? I like it a lot. It's very quirky, isn't it? It's a very indie film. Everything about it seems quirky and indie, and It's almost hipstery before hipsters were a thing.
Yeah, the quirkiness of the script, especially written by Diablo Cody.
Yes.
The script is good. I like the script, but the quirkiness of it would be fine if it was kept to just a few characters, but it felt like almost everyone in the film speaks in this wizard way, and fookity dookity.
Yo, yiggity yo. I'm a suicide risk.
Third test today, Mama Bear. Your ego is prego.
Silencio, old man.
This is one doodle that can't be undid, Holmes Gillett.
What? Honest to blog?
I've taken like 3 pregnancy tests and I am for shiz up the spout.
Phuket, Thailand.
I might disagree, actually. If I don't think it'd work so well if one of them did. I think you'd be like, oh, that's a bit strange. Like Juno's all quirky and weird. Why? And everyone else is normal.
Well, because Juno is a quirky kid, and it would make sense for her to be, and maybe her friend. But then to have everyone is
everybody? I mean, the 2 people that she's adopting to, Jason Bateman's character and Jennifer Garner, aren't. Her parents aren't really either. Her stepmom and stepfather.
No, but you've got Juno, you've got her friend, you've got even the store clerk at the beginning, played by that guy who was in Super, whose name I can't remember. What's his name? Rainn Wilson. Great actor.
He said when she's doing her third pregnancy test, she's shaking it, and he says, "This ain't an Etch-a-Sketch doodle. That doodle can't be undone." Quite like that.
Yeah, but I don't know. The script and the stuff just seemed a bit.
I think if anything, it gives a little bit of distance between the adults, the mature, everybody who's mature in the film or seen to be mature, and the youngsters who aren't. It's a good divide in structure.
Well, now you've said it, I feel I might be wrong. So I'll probably just cut this bit out about...
Not when I've got a good point.
Yeah, but I can't show weakness, can I? That's just bad. Yeah, no, I agree. I will probably maybe leave this. I won't. But...
Okay.
But yeah, the parents and certainly Mark and Vanessa, they talk normally.
I don't know when you want to come to Jason Bateman's character, Mark. He's the most interesting character for me in the whole film.
Really?
Lots of thoughts about him and his character arc.
We'll jump ahead then. We'll just go straight to it. This is our new structure. We're just all over the place. Would you consider it a character arc?
Yes, definitely, 100%.
Do you not think he starts off unhappy and clearly not into the idea and ends clearly unhappy and not into the idea? He doesn't really...
Not overly. I don't think he's seen as completely unhappy to start with, is he?
Yes. That very first scene where he's being interviewed, well, not interviewed, but in the meeting, Juno asks him how he feels about becoming a dad. His body language and his half-assed answer is obvious from the very first scene he's in. He was all like, experiments, explosions, who wouldn't be excited by that?
Yeah, maybe. But what interests me about him, like, as he's getting to know Juno more, it's clear that that influences him. I think he sees a lot of himself in her, especially with them having so much in common and stuff. And that is what kind of urges him on to leave Vanessa and go back and, try and make something of his life, which I found quite interesting. But I'm not 100% sure. Do you think everybody is doing the right thing?
How do you mean?
As in, well, Juno, I think clearly is. she's not equipped to have a child. Vanessa, that's all she wants. She wants a child. Is Mark, is he being a bad person for leaving Vanessa? Or is he's not happy, so is he doing the right thing?
Well, I feel the film is definitely painting him as the bad guy. I think he is. I mean, yeah, we're getting right into end stuff, but he's a married man hitting on a 16-year-old pregnant girl. He is a bad guy. He is the antagonist of the film. But is him leaving Vanessa bad? No.
Whoa.
What?
When does he hit on her? I mean, they have a dance.
During the slow dance scene, he tells Juno that he's going to divorce Vanessa, and then Juno gets upset by it. Mark says, "Oh, I thought you'd be happy about this," and then he asks her how she sees him.
How do you think of me? You know, why are you over here?
He's like, "How do you see me?"
Yeah, because he's literally having, his whole thing is that he's having, I guess he's having a midlife crisis because he wants to go back making his music. He's sold out making commercial stuff. And that's all he's asking with that. How do you see me? Like, do you see me as some kind of sellout? Do you see... I don't think there's anything romantic between those two.
That mid-slow dance.
Yeah, they're just having a dance to a song that she's put on, but I think that's pretty platonic.
No.
I disagree with you quite a bit. I don't think there's anything like that between the two. I think he sees her as like what he was at one point, and the fact that he never really... Well, he did follow his dreams, didn't he? Because he was in a band and that, but something that he wasn't willing to give up, and it's her that urges him on with these thoughts. I don't think it's ever a romantic thing between them.
I agree and disagree. I agree that there's definite seeing him in her, as you state. But I think it's not necessarily romantic. But when he says, "Oh, I thought you'd be happy about this. How do you see me?" That's definite. I thought we had something.
No. I think he's like, "I thought you'd be happy about this," because she's into her music, and I don't recall if she urges him to like do his music, but she definitely calls him a sellout for doing the commercial stuff. So that's what he's referring to there. Like, how do you see me? I thought you'd be happy about this, and the how do you see me? Yeah, it's just like, do you see me as somebody who's sold out, who's happy to sell out, happy to have a child, and do all of this stuff that I don't really want to, rather than, you know, living my life how I want to live it. I don't think there's anything romantic from his point of view at all.
Right. Put yourself in Mark's shoes. This whole relationship between him and her started because Juno is giving her kid to him. What part of Mark thinks that Juno would be happy, but that's now no longer happening? It doesn't make any sense unless he's implying that there's some kind of connection between them two.
Yeah, connection definitely, but not romantic. They're getting on. I think he's got close with her. They're hanging out, talking about the music, and I think he sees her as like a friend now, and that she'd be happy that like he's going to go off and do what he wants to do. I mean, he literally is. He's got a place in New York, he says, so he knows that he's leaving. So why would he be thinking, "Oh, what, Juno's going to come with me with the kids"? He already said he doesn't want a kid. So what?
I don't think he was ever like planning a future with Juno, no, but he was thinking there was some connection there that he wanted to explore.
Yeah, I agree, a connection, but I don't think anything romantic.
That's debatable either way. But all right, should we maybe go? Now we've discussed the end. Should we maybe discuss the beginning?
Sure. Yeah.
So that opens up in that cartoon style manner that I quite enjoyed whilst the music's playing and she's walking along drinking the sunny day. What I liked the intro. What did you think?
Yeah, it's good. Nice style. And I like the way she walks out of it. She walks out of the cartoon and into reality.
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion of the music of the film?
I liked it. It's not all music I would listen to myself, but I felt it fit well, and I liked a few of the songs.
Again, very quirky, isn't it?
Hmm.
The main pieces are done by the Mouldy Peaches, and I'm trying to find the lead singer's name. I forgot her name. I think it's Keir Dawson, and she once did an album with Jeffrey Lewis.
Did she?
Yes.
Funny that, because the song playing during the childbirth at the end is a song by the Mouldy Peaches, and I thought it was Jeffrey Lewis. It sounded very much like him, so I had to look that up and found out it wasn't him.
Yeah, they got a very lo-fi feel to them. They were both in. There was a movement of music called anti-folk, and that was what Mouldy Peaches and Jeffrey Lewis were kind of in, all lumped into.
So yeah, after the kind of cartoony opening, she goes into the convenience store, and after 3 pregnancy tests, Juno finally concedes defeat to the fetus inside of her belly. That's how I wrote it. And we get that conversation with her and that guy whose name I keep forgetting. Someone Wilson.
Rainn Wilson. Rainn
Wilson, who is brilliant. And yeah, his scene, I would have liked him to have a larger part in the film. He's in it right at the beginning and then not mentioned again.
No, it's true. He's in Army of One. That was good. Do you like that? The Nick Cage film, Army of One?
Oh, the name was familiar, but I couldn't think of what it was. Brilliant film, yeah. I loved that.
Yeah, that was good.
So, if you, Gavin, were to suddenly become pregnant, would you go to Havenbrook or Women Now?
Women Now.
Why?
It's got women in the title and it's now, it's immediate.
Yeah.
I like when she goes there and there's the one of her school mates there with the no babies like getting murdered sign.
All babies want to be born. All babies want to be born. That little chant. Yeah, that was good. And she had that sign up. And she tells her at this point that her baby would already have fingernails.
Seems to be the thing that puts her over the edge.
If you were to suddenly get pregnant, Gavin, and you were on your way to get the abortion, would finding out that the kid already had fingernails make you change your mind?
No.
No?
No.
I felt... How do you feel the film dealt with the choice, the abortion choice? Did you feel it was preachy at all of the fact of abortion being bad, or did you feel it dealt with it okay?
I mean, it doesn't get too much into the argument of it, does it? I know that the writer came out and said that she's pro-choice and was a little upset that a lot of people took it as anti-choice. Is that the opposite?
Anti-abortion, pro-choice, pro-life.
Pro-life, that's it, yes. Yeah, she got quite upset that quite a few people took the film to be a pro-life film and have a pro-life message, but she does not agree with that, and I don't think it preaches either way particularly.
See, I felt having that scene with the sign up and then having the abortion clinic be very... It seemed like a negative place. It felt like they were trying to point that abortion is bad. But I agree with you. It wasn't preached in any way, and it didn't feel overly preachy. So we've skipped over a few little bits. We should probably introduce the father. It's quite an integral part of the story, played by Michael Cera. What did you think of his character?
He's absent for quite a lot of it, isn't he? But again, he's a quirky fella. I like that he sleeps in a car bed.
Yeah, that's definitely his mother's choice, you'd feel.
Why?
Why? His mother seems very anti him growing up. He's very, I don't want you talking to Juno. She seems different and seems very controlling of, you went for a run today. You should eat your food and all this stuff. And I don't know. I felt that was their dynamic.
I think it just shows it's just more quirky, offbeat weirdness.
But yep, Michael Cera basically plays Michael Cera, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Would you say he's acting even?
I don't know what he's like in real life, to be honest.
I imagine a bit like that.
Probably. Is now where they have the when they talk about not abduction, adoption. So, do you think that's an actual thing in America where there are just ads for like, adopt your child to us?
I mean, I've never seen one, but yeah, it seems believable.
I think they're a bit stricter in England. I think you have to go through official grounds.
I know there are adoption agencies.
Yeah. But they literally go in a magazine, don't they? They look in a magazine in the local classified.
Yeah, I imagine that's okay here as well. It's like buying a house, isn't it? You can go through an estate agents and get other people involved and pay them fees, or you can go straight to the house seller and just buy it.
I don't think it is. I don't think you can do that here. Oddly, just last night I saw, Tara was watching something, and it was about having kids for somebody else, like a surrogate mother, and that is only legal if you don't pay for it. There can't be any fees in it.
Yeah, so it'd be the same.
So, but I feel like you've got to go somewhere.
A lawyer.
I don't know.
They'd need to do all the paperwork and stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think, anyway. I'm no expert. I've never looked into it, but yeah. What did you think, Gavin, of the scene where Juno tells Bleecker?
Yes, good. What is it? Oh, where is it? It's at the running track, isn't it?
No, it's outside Bleeker's house.
Oh, yeah, where she takes all of the furniture over there, of course.
It has it all set up. She sat there with a tiger rug and she's like got the pipe in her mouth and he just comes out the front door. She's like, hey.
He's very nonplussed by everything, isn't he? Because he hardly even mentions that she's got furniture on his lawn.
No. If you were pregnant, Gavin, and you had to tell the father, how would you do it?
What if I was like that kind of age?
Yeah.
Oh, probably just say, come round mine. And I'll be like, we had it off the other day.
Had it off?
Go on, you got to be the father.
Oh, am I the father? Okay.
Yep. You know how we had it off the other day?
If that's what you call it. I mean, I was drunk and passed out. I've just got your word to say.
Whoa! Don't play me like that. You were all for it.
Well, can a drunk person consent, Gavin?
You've ruined this. I'd just be like, look, I'm pregnant.
Get
rid of that bit. That was rubbish.
No, keep that bit.
Right, shall we get to the scene where she tells her parents?
Sure, go on in.
What did you think of that scene?
I liked the father, especially played by J.K. Simmons, who is a fine actor. The stepmother was all right as well. The scene was good, decent. Yeah. You?
I would, yeah, good. I had to wonder though, what like Tara mentions in her introduction, how would you react to a 16-year-old, your son, I guess, at 16 coming and saying he's having a kid? How would you react?
So I didn't even know that he was sexually active at this point. I've got a question for you about that in a minute. I'll come into that after your question.
Yes, I am.
Well done. Well, we know you are. Drunk guys in your bedroom. So yeah, if Dexter came to me, and Dexter is my son for anyone watching, I'd be okay with it. Supportive. I'd ask him what he was planning to do. I feel like the parents in Juno, they don't force their opinions on her. They don't say, oh, you have to have an abortion, you have to do this. They ask her. Well, actually, I don't really ask her, but Juno has a plan. She tells them the plan, and they're quite supportive. The father says, I'm going to come with you to this meeting to see this family. Supportive, they're nice. That's how I hope I would be.
Do you think you'd be any different if you had a daughter?
No, I don't think so. I think I'd still be supportive. I mean, it's gonna depend on the person, isn't it? The child in the situation, male or female. If a kid comes to you and says, "Hey, I'm pregnant," it's gonna depend on them. You know, their maturity level, how you feel they'll deal with it, how, I mean, the honesty aspect of them coming to you and telling you is good. So that means you've probably done an all right job of raising them. So you have to trust them to make the right decisions. I don't know. What did you think?
Okay. Again, I thought the dad was very cool, and I'd like to think I'd be like him. Be like, okay, cool, it's happened now. You should have been more careful, but let's deal with it. We'll. What do you want to do? Yeah, and go. I'd go along with what their decision was.
So yeah, the thing that comes up, the sexually active aspect, it comes up about at least 4 or 5 times in the film. Sexually active. Give us a definition. Go.
You're having sex.
What is sex?
Well, Trevor, when a man and a woman love each other very much,
Yes.
the man gets an erection, and the woman, she gets her vagina and just leaves it there, and the man puts it in, and that's sex.
Is that sex? Is that the definition of sex?
I don't really know what the definition of sex is, but that's a bit of sex. That's how I have it.
See, to be fair, in your defence, this is a common thing. Let me get to this. Right. It's common to think that it just means regular penis in vagina action. But sexually active is actually the partaking in any sexual activity that could result in pregnancy or STDs. So not just sex. If you're giving someone a hand job, that's sexually active.
How are you getting pregnant? How are you getting pregnant from a hand job?
You're not, but STDs and things. Any sexual activity with another person. Anything you're doing yourself, that's fine. But if you're doing something with someone else, that's sexually active.
You've got to be touching them. What if you're both going at yourselves?
If you're both going at yourselves, then that is not sexually active. In a medical sense.
Thanks, Dad.
That's fine. But yeah, it's common, apparently. Most people think sexually active means having intercourse.
It's like sodomy. People assume sodomy just means anal. But sodomy is any form of sexual activity that isn't for procreation.
I didn't know that. So look at us, we're both learning things.
I learnt that from Doug Stanhope. Oh, that reminds me, actually, I should tell the story about how I watched Juno first that I teased in the last episode.
Oh, this was our whole thing. Oh, yeah, definitely do that.
Yeah, so I first saw it at King's Lynn Arts Centre, which they used to put on films, but they're not really a cinema, so I can only assume they didn't really know how to project a film. In 2007, they were probably still actually projecting on film, and they showed it in the wrong aspect ratio. I think it's called open matte. Like when you shoot on 35mm film, unless you're shooting anamorphic, you use the entire frame, but then you usually crop to like 16:9 or 233, whatever. They played it at completely the wrong aspect ratio, so at almost every shot the boom was in, and there's a shot when Juno's walking up the stairs of Mark and Vanessa's house, and there's a shot like looking downstairs, and where you weren't meant to see like the landing, which is like above the stairs, they're going under it, and you can just see the whole crew there just stood there, and some knelt on the floor. It was a bizarre experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I first saw it.
I've seen boom poles and stuff in shots before, but I've never seen a whole crew.
So yeah, sometimes they go in accidentally, but that's they just didn't crop it or whatever. So just you could see people walking around out of shot and all sorts of stuff. It's strange.
Sometimes they go in accidentally. That's what you said to me after I woke up.
So then they meet. She goes and meets Mark and Vanessa.
Yes, with her father. What we've already discussed them, kind of, but this scene, I felt it was very apparent that he wasn't interested.
You might be right. I obviously missed that.
Yeah, I mean, to me it was painfully obvious. And if I was Juno, or certainly Juno's father, I would not. That would be a red flag for me. I'd be like, hold on, this guy's not too into this.
Maybe it's just like me. I'm like that though. I don't.
And I wouldn't adopt a child to you.
Well, understood. I wouldn't either. But
if you're in an adoption meeting, you're gonna, at least fake it. He was like, yeah, totally. He was not into
Was he that bad?
He was pretty bad.
Betcha. Yeah. Every guy wants to be a father, wants to coach the soccer team and help out with the science fair. The volcano goes off. I don't know. Yeah, all that.
I guess like when she takes the ultrasound round later on, he's very, do you look at that? It's not too into it.
I mean, and then you've got Vanessa. Vanessa's a weird one. When you know that Mark's not into it, you know that that's not going to work out. I feel that whole story arc hinges on Vanessa being so awesome that we're rooting for her because she's like the person who we're hoping will get the child. What did you think of Vanessa?
I didn't dislike her. She's obviously worries a lot about the whole situation and is worried it'll all fall through, which actually brings up a bit of an issue in the film. At one point they say, because we had this happen before where it fell through, but then later on he says
I've got about this in my final notes, so I'll just scroll down. The timeline with Mark and Vanessa also confused me. Mark states that this all happened so fast, but 1 second he was placing an ad in the paper thinking it would take forever, and then suddenly it was all happening. Yet it is later explained that they had another adoption fall through at the last minute. So that would be at least 7 to 8 months. And then telling her parents about the pregnancy, she states that the couple had been trying for a baby for 5 years. So this whole timeline's all over the place.
Yeah, I think there's some issues there with that whole thing. It just needed all of that cut out. If he doesn't mention that they tried before and that this is their first time, then it all works fine.
Yeah, but I think you need the fact that it fell through to have Vanessa's over worrying be more believable.
I guess, but wouldn't you also over worry on your first time? It's like, okay, have we been trying? You can have we've been trying for a long time. That's okay, but just cut out the whole bit about, we got quite far with another mother.
Can you have the "we've been trying for 5 years" bit? Bearing in mind, Mark is blatantly unhappy from the very first scene we see him in. I think I agree with you in the fact that Juno and his connection with her brings it out of him, but it's all in there already. Do you feel that has been going on for 5 years?
Probably. He's probably got into a rut of making these tunes for commercials, and like you say, he lives at home, works from home, so he's probably just got into a rut over all this time. He's probably counting on maybe it falling through with Juno, and it's when it starts getting serious that he's finally like, right, I've got to do something about this.
So in regards to Vanessa, I felt the film was definitely wanting us to love her and be on her side. I just didn't. I didn't like how she made Mark put all of his belongings in a single room, or how she shunned him anytime he brought up music or any of his passions. To me, the couple seemed not to really have anything in common. They didn't have any chemistry, but they clashed. Anytime he brought up music, she gave him that look.
I don't think they're fully making you want to love her, because she's not a massive character in it, really. I mean, compared to him, it's her and Juno, Mark and Juno, who are having all the scenes together. There's not much of Vanessa at all, really.
Yeah, but she's still a very integral part.
Oh, of course, but I mean, I think they're leaving it up to you to decide. I don't think they're giving a clear thing, because there are the elements of her shutting off his passions and stuff, but she is also, it seems clear that she's going to be a good mother. Like the scene where Juno spies on her in the shopping mall looking after a kid. It seems that she's going to be a good person, but it's just more ammunition for him to leave, isn't it?
Funny you should mention the mall scene. There's something I seem to pick up on, but I've not seen anyone else mention online, so I could just be making this up. When they bump into each other at the mall and the baby starts kicking, Juno says, "Do you want to have a feel?" And Vanessa gets all excited, gets down on her knees and feels, but the baby doesn't kick. So Juno says, maybe you should try talking to it. So she starts talking to it, and then she claims that she feels the baby kick. In the moment, to me, I thought she was lying. I didn't think the baby kicked, and there was just something about her desperation, her face, and then it felt like, I'm going to pretend that it kicked because this is embarrassing. And then the look Juno gives her as well just implies to me that it didn't happen.
I can't feel anything. It's not moving for me. Oh, God. That was magical.
I didn't think so at the time, but I guess that's a way of looking at it. Although that kind of then makes the ending a bit more sour, with Juno saying, "If you're still in, I am." It's almost like she's fabricated a connection with the baby. Makes it a bit darker, I suppose.
I think I'm wrong, because I've not seen anyone else point this out online at all. But when watching, that's the impression I got.
It's an interesting idea. So the big question with the film, who do you prefer? Dario Argento or H.G. Lewis?
I've not seen many of either, if I'm honest. You got
Is
Wizard
that-
of Gauze there? No. Feast?
No, that is the H.G. Lewis box set with how many of his films? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of his films there.
How many of them have you seen?
I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these ones and a couple more that aren't on it.
That'll be the highlight of this podcast. Just a shot of you counting. 1, 2. That'll be great. Carry on.
Yeah, but definitely Dario Argento is much better than H.G. Lewis. I don't know how you could even argue that.
Neither do I. But I wouldn't know how you would argue the other way around either. So yeah, the film bit, that's kind of related to my next note as well. Through a series of scenes, Juno and Mark seem to bond somewhat. How do you feel about this, and do you feel lines were crossed?
I don't think so. Hanging out, watching films, I don't think there's an issue having... I suppose you could say lines are crossed when it's decided at the beginning that Juno isn't going to have anything to do with the baby afterwards. I suppose in that case, there's any kind of relationship with that family is a little strange. But other than that, I don't think there are any lines crossed.
For me, Juno going to the house unannounced the first time was when she had the ultrasound. That, I would say, is probably ill-advised, especially considering the conversation about not wanting to be informed about the baby's life after the transaction. But it was arguably done with good intentions. She's young. She didn't know the way to do things. She just wanted to share this moment. It's fine. I even feel the stuff with the music was okay. You can understand as the parent wanting to influence what the baby is listening to. Where I felt it crossed the line was the film, which you just brought up. At that point, it's no longer about the baby. They're just watching a film in a situation they shouldn't be watching a film.
Don't know. I don't see the issue with it, apart from the fact that they obviously said that she doesn't want anything to do with the baby or any contact afterwards. But otherwise, they're just hanging out. I don't know.
Do you think hanging out is appropriate in this situation?
I mean, it's when she's got the ultrasound that she's watching the film, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the first time she comes around. She goes around. They're talking about music. Well, shows them the ultrasound. Then they start discussing music, and then she sees the Wizard of Gore, and that brings up that discussion.
Juno was his only wife, and she was supposed to be, like, really beautiful, but really mean. Like Diana Ross.
Well, that suits you.
Thanks?
You are something else.
Nah.
There's Vanessa. You'd better go.
What? Why?
Put yourself, all right? You're in Mark's shoes. You are now Mark. Hi, Mark. You are in a relationship. Let's pretend it's a happy relationship. You're happy in this relationship, and you want a child, You've been trying for 5 years, Mark. You can't do it. It's probably your fault. Let's be honest. You've put an ad in the paper. This girl has come round. She's willing to give you her child. She's a 16-year-old girl, heavily pregnant. Do you feel that you suggesting watching a movie together is appropriate?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like your wife
Why not?
isn't part of this process? She's not there?
In that situation, which actually brings up another point that I'll bring up after, I would probably text my wife and say, "Oh, Juno's here. We're watching Wizard of Gore."
Well, that brings up two questions. A, why do you feel you have to tell your wife if it's not inappropriate? If it's not inappropriate, then why do you have to tell her? And there was a second question, but I can't remember the second question. So just answer that one.
All right. Just letting her know that she's here. I don't know. I'm not. I'm saying it isn't inappropriate. So
why would you text your wife?
I just probably would. Which, the point what they make as well is that even though it's 2007, there's no mobile phones in this film at all. It's not even mentioned.
That was a conscious choice. Apparently, they didn't want the movie to be like outdated or something.
In like horror films, there's a whole big thing about cell phones. Like they've always got to give some crap explanation. I've got no signal. I've always thought that if I ever wrote a horror film, I would just not bring it up. I don't think anybody would think about it.
If nobody ever had a phone in any scene, then yeah, sure. You're making a film in a reality where mobile phones don't exist.
Sure.
So yeah, obviously after this whole stuff, Juno runs off crying, bumps into Vanessa. Vanessa asks what Mark has done. He explains to her that he's not ready to have a child. They then have that whole argument. Juno runs off or drives off. She's got a car. And that's when she leaves the note. A bit later, but yeah, she leaves a note for Vanessa. What did the note say? I've got that somewhere.
It said, "If you're in, I'm in. Or if you're still in, I'm in."
It does say that. I can't find the note. But we don't actually see what it says yet. We get quite a nice scene with Juno and her father again, where she's asking him if two people can stay together forever. I just like J.K. Simmons, really.
He's very opposite to his character in Whiplash in this one.
Yes, much more understanding, caring. I
didn't want to go the whole review without mentioning that they bring up Sonic Youth a couple of times. What a great band. And one of my favourite Sonic Youth songs, the Carpenters cover of Superstar.
Yeah, well, I brought one of their albums, and it sucked.
It's just noise.
I don't really know them.
Good. Very good. There's a lot of Bella and Sebastian in this as well. A lot of my, not my favourite bands, but a lot of bands I like in this.
Is there anything else that we haven't brought up?
She ends up... there's a whole thing with Bleecker taking another girl to prom.
Yeah, that's before. So Juno suggests that he should ask her to prom, and then when he does, she gets all moody about it. That doesn't actually happen. She rectifies the situation, apologizes, and tells him that she loves him by putting all the Tic Tacs in his mailbox, which again was a nice touch.
Do you think they last?
Do I think they last forever and ever and ever? No, nobody does, do they? Let's ask you, Gavin. What do you think makes a relationship work, and how do you feel you would make it last forever and ever and ever?
Just got to be like understanding, haven't you? And listen. Got to listen.
Is that your tip? Listen.
Yeah, listen. And orange Tic Tacs.
Listen and give orange Tic Tacs.
Yes, helps kill babies.
And my tip is, if you're in a relationship, give your partner one room in the house where they can put all their stuff.
Cool.
That's my. You have to give them their space, don't you, Gavin? You have that one room, put all your stuff over there. Don't play music because that's loud and I'll be able to hear it outside of the room. But you can have the music stuff in the room, just as long as you don't touch it or play with it.
She only ever complains about his music when she's playing it. He's playing it when they're meant to be having the meeting about the baby.
I'm sure she complains about it all the time. It's the vibe I got. The only other scene I want to bring up before we progress is the ultrasound scene where Juno's stepmother sticks up for Juno. When finding out that the baby is being adopted, the ultrasound technician says, "Oh, well, thank goodness for that. I see a lot of teenage mothers come through here, and it's obviously a poisonous environment to raise a baby in." It's quite a bold statement for somebody to make.
It's a bit much to be saying, isn't it?
It is. Juno then states, "How do you know that I'm so poisonous? What if these adoptive parents turn out to be like evil molesters?" Which I quite like that line. And then her stepmother continues with, "They could be utterly negligent. Maybe they'll do a far shittier job of raising a kid." That's the first time I've sworn. I've just sworn in this podcast.
It's disgusting.
I am quoting, though, so I feel it's okay. "Maybe they'll do a far shittier job of raising a kid than my dumbass stepdaughter ever would." I like that scene as well. It was the first scene really showing the stepmother as a likable person.
Oh, and I think she is right from the start, really, isn't she? Especially when she's very on Juno's side when she tells her about the pregnancy. Because she's like, right, we've got to get your health checks, we've got to do this. I think she's very supportive.
She's supportive, yeah. But that's the first scene where I was like, yeah, go you.
Cool.
So, yeah, before we get on to final stuff, is there anything else you want to discuss at the end?
No, I am good.
Juno has the baby. Vanessa has the baby. We don't see what happens to Mark. We assume he's in some band somewhere, married to Tara Rye.
Oh. She loves all these musicians.
Yeah. That's why she's interested in you. She's into you because of your musical history.
I don't remember that. Where's my musical history?
I don't know. That's just what you told me. That's how you got me back to your house the other night. You said that you were a musician. Were you lying to me?
Well, I play the skin flute.
I see. So, Keir Mills. Do you know Keir?
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely chap. We forgot to say last week that he has started his own YouTube channel, and he gave us a shout out, and I said I was going to give him a shout out, and then we didn't give him a shout out, and that made me feel bad.
Oh, you double-crossing bastard.
Yeah, I know. So Keir Mills, he has a YouTube channel called She Gave Me a Pen. YouTube it. Look it up on the YouTubes. It's very good. It's basically Keir Mills doing his Keir Mills stuff. He does a weekly segment for us. He lives in my shed. I've basically allowed him to continue using the shed for his new channel.
I guess he's not got much else to do in there, has he?
I don't know, Gavin. I think I feel I provide enough entertainment for him. He gets his weekly film, but...
Is that all he's allowed? One film a week? He's got all those DVDs, though. We've seen them.
Yeah, but he's not allowed to watch them.
Oh.
But I have a power switch inside, so I turn it on for the duration of the film. After that, the power switch goes off.
Okay, right. How does he watch all of the films that he talks about on his other YouTube channel then?
Well, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I think he's just making it up. I don't think he's seen any of them.
Oh, right.
That's my theory. That's not a fact. That's just a guess. So we're going to cut to Keir Mills right about now. He's still in my shed. He's out there now, and he's going to talk to us about Juno. So, give a cheer for Keir.
Yay!
Oh. Is this why you don't usually do very emotive cheering?
I've died.
Took it.
Juno. Released in 2007, this was unarguably the breakthrough role for Elliot Page, who went on to receive mountains of accolade and acclaim, not least an Academy Award nomination for their performance in the titular role. And basically, he deserved it. It's an impressive performance. The movie co-stars Michael Cera, who was coming off his name-making Apatow fratbuster Superbad. This is Michael Cera before he became Michael Cera. And he is actually rather endearing, with that staple super-duper sweet charm. I reckon you've got this, Superbad, and Scott Pilgrim before you're in danger of developing diabetes. The movie begins with the word autumn handwritten in the top right-hand corner, and you would be forgiven for thinking, we might be in for some Dear Diary tweeners here. And then the first words are narrated. It started with a chair. Yeah, we are definitely in for some Dear Diary tweeners here. And this is compounded by the title credits, which bounce in with the admittedly brilliant but incredibly quaint All I Want Is You by Barry Lewis Polisar, alongside some hand-drawn stop-motion animation. Twee overload. And we're under 2 minutes in. Right. Okay. Credits rolling. Yep. Michael Cera. Oh, God. It's got Jennifer Garner in it. Oh. It's got Jason Bateman in it. And Alison Janney. Okay. It's got J.K. Simmons in it. It's all right, people. We might get through this. And this feeling of steely resolve is strengthened as we see Rainn Wilson of US Office fame giving a delightful little cameo. However, we are then pegged back when that Tire Swing song comes on. It may well have been this song that inspired those unbearable Match.com Ukulele UK adverts. Yeah, thanks for that. Now, more and more throughout this movie, you'll notice that the characters don't speak like your average Joes and Jolenes. Oh no. They speak with that almighty American silver-tongued garrulous manner. That suave loquaciousness made famous through Dawson's Creek and The OC. And if you're old enough, no, cool enough, Party of Five and My So-Called Life. They are not speaking off the cuff. They have mapped out every single conversation that they are going to have during the day over breakfast. They have rewritten it, studied it, practiced it, and they are now out there performing their erudite tete-a-tetes as if they're just fallen off the back of the National Players touring bus. It's just not realistic. You know those times when you're having a disagreement with somebody and it gets a bit heated and then they beat you with a belter of a one-liner and you go home red-faced and tail between legged, and later in the evening you think, damn, that's what I should have said. Well, these guys, no, they never think that. It's always perfect first time. Always. And that is a dream that is unobtainable. I mean, these guys are meant to be 16 for sake. And another thing. No one's parents are that perfect. I don't care. They're not. Look, I know a lot of good parents, understanding parents, bloody awesome parents. Shout out to the parents. You know who you are. But none of them are like this. I mean, come on. There's chill and there's this. They're like two walking, talking Xanax pills. Oh, God. There she is. It's Jennifer Garner, looking about as sympathetic as an atomic bomb. Come on, move on. Get off my screen. Off. Now, I'd like to draw everyone's attention to the world's worst ultrasound technician. For reasons unbeknownst to anyone, she decides to essentially berate Juno's character whilst performing her duties. You would think that you might need the tiniest amount of tact when working in this medical area. I mean, again, look, the girl's 16. It's okay though. Alison Jan is there to full-on I, Tonya her ass. And this helpfully brings me to a point where I may critique the performances. Everyone here is pretty much excellent. Well, aside from the obvious Garner fant in the room. And even she doesn't make me quite want to slap a kitten. It is close, though. If I had any kittens with me, they may well have the right to feel a little nervous. I'd like to point out another major bugbear I have with this movie. Herschel Gordon Lewis did not make slasher movies. He made splatter movies. The Wizard of Gore is a splatter movie. Maybe you're not perfectly learned, Juno. Look, this movie is exactly what you expect it to be. If you really liked 500 Days of Summer, Garden State, Whip It, firstly, there may be something seriously wrong with you. Secondly, you're going to like this movie. It is better. It's on the upper echelon of this genre. It's reaching for Ghost World. It's grappling with Adventureland. It's dreaming of being Scott Pilgrim versus the world. The trouble is, I have literally seen this movie 10 times. And I'm not meaning that as an insult to the movie. I am saying I have literally seen this movie 10 times. I don't know how that has happened. I don't know why that it has happened, but it has. I have to live with it. Now you do too. And I always forget what happens. Now you might think that that means that this movie constantly feels fresh. But I'm here to tell you that that's not quite the case. It's just that this movie is generally forgettable. It's actually quite charming whilst it's on. There are some genuinely sweet moments. And, as I said, the performances are really rather good. I mean, this is the first thing that I saw J.K. Simmons in since I saw him in the prison drama Oz. And if you've seen him in the prison drama Oz, it really is quite remarkable how he is able to transform so easily into the doting father figure that we see here. It is also rather impressive that at no point does this movie make you think about the real-life implications of the story. What is going to happen when the child reaches 18 and inevitably wants to find out about their true parentage? And the crushing psychological fallout that will no doubt occur when they find quite how emotionally detached Juno was from the entire situation. I mean, Juno might even be a sociopath. Now that thought has actually made the movie more interesting. Juno 2? Anyone? Laters.
So that was Keir Mills with another excellent segment. Thank you very much, kind sir. I mean, we get quite a few views each week, not loads, but I think the majority of them come here for him. So yeah, thank you. You have to do it. You're bored. You don't have many options, but thank you anyway.
Cheers.
So, final thoughts, Gavin. I went first last week, so you're going first this week. Go.
Juno. So yeah, it is a film of its time. I don't think you could make it now. It's got that quirkiness. It seemed to be kind of almost the start of that kind of film. Not that I can think of any off the top of my head now, but that kind of indie film. It's not quite mainstream. It's not quite low budget. I mean, it's a Fox Searchlight thing when they made that to produce like indie stuff. And like with that, with all the quirky music, the quirky characters, it's an enjoyable watch. It's not one that I would need to watch probably for another 10 years, or what would it be, 13, 14 years since it came out. So I like the performances, some good characters. Solid 8 out of 10 for me.
Fair enough. I mean, I thought it was fine. I thought Elliot Page was brilliant in this. I've liked him in a lot of films. This is one of his best performances, in my opinion. It's good, solid performance. J.K. Simmons also very good as Juno's father. The rest of the cast were fine. What's his name? Jason Bateman?
Bateman.
Jason Bateman. He is... he's someone who is fine. I've never liked or disliked him, really.
He's a bit like Michael Cera. He's very similar in every role.
But yeah, the rest of the cast were fine. I enjoyed the soundtrack. I put here especially for Jeffrey Lewis song. It wasn't Jeffrey Lewis. It was Mouldy Features. But the soundtrack I felt fit. But as the film overall, I didn't love. Mark's character I didn't really like. I mean, him as a character was fine, I suppose, but it was... I mean, you said about a character arc. I didn't see much of an arc with him. I sort of thought he was quite two-dimensional. He's just this guy who doesn't want to grow up from the first scene to the end scene, in my opinion. It was fine. It was all right. I watched it. Didn't hate it. Didn't love it. Wouldn't care to watch it again. Even in 10, 15 years' time, it existed. 6 out of 10 for me. So,
okay.
6 out of 10 plus 8 out of 10 is 14 out of 10. 14 divided by 2 is 7
14
out
of 20.
Yeah, 14 out of 20. That's what I said. So, yeah, we've got that. So we need to make a decision on what we're doing about next week's film, because we've been told by another director of a movie, Circus of the Dead, the director, Billy Pon, has said that if we want to do his film, he would do us an introduction. So we need to make a choice, Gavin, of whether we want to do that now, do that next week, or if we want to do another random thing.
I would say we go for the Circus of the Dead.
All right. So, regular members of the Cool Kids Film Club, next week's film will be Circus of the Dead, directed by Billy Pon, and he will hopefully be doing us an introduction. And then the week after that, we'll revert back to doing random picks.
Yes.
Brilliant. So we've got next week's film. We've done the review. We've got a rating, 7 out of 10. That's it.
Yeah. Say bye.
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 This is the Cool Kids Film Club podcast. Watch films with